Hi guys, I'm Aditya and today let's talk about Blinks. So before coming to Blinks, let's look into what are actions. Actions in Solana are basically APIs using which we can trigger transactions. So instead of creating a transaction in the client, we can directly create an API and we can put all our transactions actually in that API. So So basically, we can create QR codes, create buttons in our client, and we can send transactions from the APIs to the Solana blockchain. So yeah, so what are blinks? So basically, blinks are nothing but blockchain links. So before we were actually passing the APIs from our client. So now using blinks, we can use a third-party website to send the transactions from the links. So before going through links, let me show you an example, pretty good example actually. If I go to and yeah, so it is uh, something like this, wherein you can free redeem, you can redeem your tokens directly from x.com. So there is one option which you need to enable in the Phantom wallet to use this feature. So, so, so in the experimental features, so you need to enable this x.com Solana actions on x.com for this to work. And if you reload the page, yeah, it will work. So this can be this is a API which mints a token, basically redeems a token. You can create an API which can mint an NFT or directly buy a meme coin or send SOL to a particular address. So let's click on this and yeah, it triggers a wallet transaction. And if I connect the wallet and if I confirm transaction, yeah, so directly without going to any kind of third party website, we can easily create a transaction within Twitter itself. So it's a really great use case for meme coins to sell their meme coins or for NFTs to mint NFTs directly from Twitter. And yeah, we know that people after going to another website forget and having something native to Twitter is something which is really really a great thing. You know, you can just buy tokens or mint NFT within Twitter itself. Yeah, so those basically are blinks. Basically, this is triggering a Solana action, and blinks and actions work together. So yeah, so let's go to the demo now. I will show a walkthrough demo of how to use blinks. So let's create a next app. So I will provide the GitHub link and all the other links in the description below, so you don't have to like worry about them. Uh, so let's wait. So you can select TypeScript and yeah, it doesn't matter. Um, you can either use Next.js, which has its own backend, the APIs, the servers, the server rendering, or you can use any other third party, any other servers as well, like Express, Node. So it doesn't matter, but the API remains the same. So I'm going to use Next.js for now. Yeah, so So let's also, while in the meanwhile, let's go through the documentation once and let's see what exactly it says. So yeah, as I had said, Solana actions are specification compliant APIs that return transactions on Solana blockchain to be previewed, signed, and sent across a number of various contexts. So basically, any transaction can be achieved using actions, any Solana transaction, and basically you can trigger the transaction via the APIs and blinks as we see this one basically. So you can generate any transaction from the Twitter itself without having to going to their website like Solana Dev. You don't have to go there and trigger it. You can trigger it from here itself. So yeah, yeah. So our application is our next year's application is created. So we need two packages actually. So this is the one, Solana Actions, and we also need the Solana Web3. So once this is done, let me also install the Solana Web3. So let's wait for it to get installed. Yeah. So let me open my VS Code quickly and let's try to create a blink. Okay. Think one. So let me open this up. Yeah. So after installing two packages, that is Solana Web3 and Solana Actions, we can start create our own blink now. So let's create a API route and let's create actions, and within actions we'll create send soul function. So we'll create a route.ts, and yeah. So so let me do one thing. um, so I'll provide you this resource GitHub example, and yeah. So let me just copy this up, and so this is a really good resource actually if you want to create a Solana action. So before actually creating a blink, let's create a Solana action. Okay. So you have all the actions, that is transfer soul, stake, memo. So let me go and do a transfer soul, and okay, I copy pasted the code. And so let's go through the code. Let's not just run this directly. And yeah, so we need these two variables as well. So yeah, I'll get these two variables quickly. So so we import all these things. So I will explain each of them as we go further. And yeah, so this is the default Solana address, the Solana address to which you will send the souls. So you can put your address, and yeah, I will put my address. Okay. So as you can see, the account has just 0.22 soul, and yeah, I can create a devnet. Yeah, I will paste my address here, and so yeah. So initially we'll create a get request, and the get request has the URL, and this is the URL, and we have an actions payload. So what this basically is, this is the metadata of the blink. So this is basically the metadata of the blink. Um, so if I just run the application and yeah, so show you. So if I just run the application, yeah, so API actions and let's see what's the name. So it is send soul. Yeah. So if we see here, we need to be getting the metadata and we will use this dial.to website to create our blink. So yeah, so basically also remember that you shouldn't go to the dial.to website and you need to go to the dial.to slash devnet. Many people go to the dial.to and they get an error because it searches in the mainnet for that. If you're using the devnet, go to the dial.to slash devnet. I will provide all the links in the description. Okay, so yeah, so we get the metadata and let me just copy paste here and if we submit it here, um, we get this. So this is basically the same metadata which we are sending from the payload. So we can see the title, action example, transfer native soul, and icon. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's get an icon. Quickly, I'll get an icon. So yeah, currently there is no image. So if we paste the image URL here, yeah. So hopefully we'll get the image as well. So let me just reload the page. So this is the basically the metadata. Get metadata, and I think there might be an issue with the image. So yeah, guys. So actually, it only supports JPG images. So yeah, this is one image, and if I reload the page, hopefully this should load the image. Yeah, so you can see. So this is basically the metadata, and if I remove this label here, so if I remove this label here, um, you'll yeah, so you'll not see that label. So whatever data you need to show or whatever actions you want to perform, you need to add it here. And if you want to accept any value from the user, you need to add it in the parameters. And yeah, so that is about the get request. So basically, whatever you see here, the metadata is coming from the get request. And yeah, so let's go to our main request, that is the post request. So post request basically triggers the wallet and it tries to pass in a transaction to the Solana blockchain. So let's see what it is because it's really important. Yeah. So if I go amount to pub key, yeah. So initially you get the public key from the wallet. So you get the public key from the wallet and after getting the public key from the wallet, you create a connection. So basically now I'm using the devnet, but if you want to use the mainnet, you can change it. Yeah, so you can change the mainnet to beta, but currently I'm using the devnet. So this is the connection and you can ignore these. These are basically the minimum balances which you are checking. So this is the transfer soul instructions. So basically, this is the from address and to address, and these are the lamp ports. Basically, lamp ports is basically a very minor unit of Solana. So it's basically like in ETH we have the V, right? So similar to that, it's basic unit of Solana. So we multiply the amount by the lamp ports to get the Sol and the two public key. So here, if we see, we are attaching the public key. So we are attaching the public key which we gave it here, um, and that is the two public key. So those are the important things. So those are basically creating transactions. So yeah. So after this, um, so this is the main thing wherein we create a new transaction. So this is basically all the steps which we need to do to transfer Sol. So this is the main step wherein we create a transaction and we provide the account, the block hash, and the last valid block height. You can also do like this. You can just provide transaction dot fee pair is equals to account and transaction dot recent block hash is equal to block hash. Even this is also correct. Both are the same basically. You can remove this in this JSON and do it like this. Some places it is done like this. So yeah. So this is the transaction and so this is the transaction and whenever we trigger a transaction, this gets triggered and yeah. So this is the response which we are sending back to the front end to the client. Okay, let me show you an example. I think we will be able to understand it better if I show you an example. So let me see what is my balance. So it's really less. Let me switch my account. Yeah, and let me just refresh it. Yeah, so we can click this action, send one Sol. One second. I think there might be an issue. Fail to fetch. Okay. So yeah. So bit of digging, and I found out that it was a course issue. So fetch transfer Sol has been blocked. So it's not transfer Sol. We changed it to send Sol. Yeah. So send Sol. Yeah. So a very simple mistake, and I think it should work now as expected, and hopefully it works. And yeah, we can see our phantom screen. It's good news for us. And after confirm, yeah, so we can see that it has been successfully completed. And even if we see the transactions, yeah, okay, Explorer. So basically, we are facing a course issue, and yeah, because I copied from the GitHub, I didn't change the URL, so it is send Sol, and yeah, so make sure you change the URL, guys, because that is really important. And if we see here, just yeah, let's go to the devnet, and we can see that just a minute ago, the transaction is successful.